Hello there, it's Tracy Davier from Your VA Mentor. Thank you so much for being with me this morning. I always try to log in just a couple minutes early. Oops, get that click off my end live video button. Just try to log in a couple seconds early so that people have a chance to join if they want to. And we can get started. We're having like this major windstorm here this morning. I was supposed to head off early this morning and do a little bit of shopping before everybody in the house got up, and it was just really bad. There's like snow squalls and wind and blowing snow and everything like that. So we're just waiting it out a little bit until looks like it may be sort of passing. We have a really good Facebook group that tells us about our traffic, so and our weather, traffic conditions and all that kind of stuff. So I will check in after this and maybe do that then. So here we are at the top of our hour. Thank you so much for being with me here today. It's Tracy Daviero from Your VA Mentor, and as every Monday morning at 12 noon Eastern time, that's where I am, is when we get together here live in the group to talk about some things that I get a lot of questions about. One of the things that that is sort of the nature of my business is, that people use me as a resource, and I'm totally okay with that. I have loads and loads of information out there in my various websites and the places that I have been and that kind of thing. And as a coach, obviously, and as a trainer, I want to be able to share that information with as many people as I can. So I have various avenues to do that. One of those is this group, which most of you know, so that's super. But one of the things that I like to make sure of too is that that I'm bringing content to you here as well, because it helps me to provide more value, obviously, for you to be in this group, but it also gives you an idea of the things that I can help you with potentially in your business, or the things that, I suggest that you get support with, because it's not always with me, right? And I'm very aware of that. I'm totally okay with that. But I always think that if there's something that you need to get help with, support with, training with, anything like that, that you are seeking out that, and it's paid, or, otherwise, usually it's paid. When you get to the point where you have a specific question, a specific question, but a specific thing you need to work on. Like if you need to work on your marketing message, or if you need to learn about business planning, or if you need to learn how to network better, or if you need help to, learn how to do sales conversations, or if you need skills help, if you need to upgrade your skills for any reason, these are all good reasons to pay for some kind of support in your business. And so I like to be able to give that information to people and, do it by video, because video is all the rage these days. And it's, and I love it. I'm having a lot of fun doing it. So today, my topic is getting your VA business started. I see this question a lot in the places that I travel, the VA forums, and all the places that VAs are sort of talking to each other, and people who aren't in the VA business yet are asking these questions. And so what I try to do on these particular lives is to cover sort of the basics, just give you 3 points that you can sort of look into, and do some follow-up from there. So I'm hoping that I'll give you the information that you're looking for today. So when you're getting started in your business, you need a lot of things. There's no question that it's not, you can't just all of a sudden get a client and then that's the end of that. Although some of us have actually started our business that way. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Bringing money into your business and getting started that way is certainly awesome. If you a lot of us started working, for our old boss, right? That was sort of what happened with me, was that I went off on maternity leave, and then I was able to have my old boss as my first client. So it's very helpful that way. But that doesn't preclude the fact that you do need to have, sort of a bit of a structure to what's going on, regardless of how your business got started. So the first thing you have to have whenever you are getting your business started is you have to have a service to offer. And this is something that I think a lot of VAs sort of miss the boat on whenever they're getting the information, they're doing the research and that kind of thing, is that you need to start with something that you know how to do really, really well. So it's not about getting training in social media and then offering social media services. Now, I'm not saying you can't do that, but it is really important to understand that if you've never sold your services to people before, if you don't have that kind of business savvy and that kind of thing, you're going to be putting yourself behind the 8 ball by trying to sell something that you've never provided as a service, okay? So I always recommend that you start with what you know how to do now. And if you're coming from an admin background in your corporate, in your corporate life, then that's what you start with, because small business administration is exactly like corporate administration, right? They all need the same things. They all need appointments scheduled and documents, either typed or sent or tracked or whatever. They all need, everybody needs project management, task management. They need help with a lot of different things. And so if you have an administrative background, those are the services that you know how to provide right now. Like that's something that you have experience with. That's the service that you should be offering to people right now. And then what you do is then you implement the training further down the road. And it doesn't have to be a lot further down the road. You can certainly have a short-term goal of, within 6 months, I'd rather be providing, social media services or WordPress or whatever, event planning, whatever you want to do. But in order to start quickly and easily, the services part should kind of be a no-brainer. So it's like, I know how to do bookkeeping, I'm going to do that. I don't want to build a business around bookkeeping, but I know I can get clients in the door, I can get started, and then I can build the business, in the direction that I want. My business changed a lot of directions over the 20 years that I've been doing this. So start with that. Start with your service offering, and know what that is, and know that you're really strong at providing it, because that's the thing that's going to get you the clients. That's the thing that's going to make it easy for you to have networking conversations with potential clients. It's going to make it easy for you to write, maybe some marketing copy and that kind of thing, because you know all about it. You know what you're doing, and you don't have to try to convince somebody that, this program that you just took to learn something, really it's awesome, and now I can do this for you. They're going to want to know when they're paying money to you, they're going to want to know how, they're going to want some proof, right? Basically. So, and like I say, it's super easy to shift and flow your services after you get started, but that's really important. Have a service that you're really strong in to offer to begin with. The second thing that you need to do whenever you are starting your business is really understand the business setup part of it. Like I say, a lot of us, came into this, we have one client, the client just starts paying us, we send them an invoice every month and we're fine. But in terms of growing your business and making it, sort of building in longevity and sustainability into your business, it's really important to get those business pieces really nailed down. So you want to make sure that you understand how the financial part of it works. You want to understand how the marketing part of it works, connections and all those kinds of things. You want to understand what you need and what you don't need, right? Maybe you need, a website because you are providing website services. Maybe you only need a LinkedIn profile if you have a really good network of people that you can connect with to get work, but you don't need to do a lot of marketing per se. So you need to understand what it is that you need in your business and how that's going to work. So the business setup part of it is really, really important. And so, and a lot of us go into our business without learning that and without knowing that and without understanding the real importance behind it. Okay. It's about being the CEO of your business. It's about being in charge, learning how to make decisions, learning how to do the research that you need, but knowing when to analyze that research and cut it off and make a decision and move forward, and knowing how to, make those footsteps all the time, that, one foot in front of the other, that helps you be more successful and helps you to grow as a business owner. Because a lot of us, just like the easy part of working from home, and that's a big part of it. And first of all, you have to be good at, working by yourself and self-motivated and all that kind of thing. But in terms of the business setup, whatever it is that you don't know, I would highly suggest taking some training or getting some support in it, so that it's something that, you become better at. It will really help you in your business moving forward. And the third thing you need to get started, like I say, 1, 2, 3. The third thing you really need to get started is an onboarding process, the onboarding stuff, okay? So what it is that you need to have your office set up, like I say, and I talk about this stuff all the time, is, you need a dedicated office space. Whether that's the dining room table or not, you want to have something. If you don't have a spare place for you to work, you want to be able to have a box, and I would suggest a banker's box if that's what you can do, and set your office up. And when your office is done, take it apart. You don't want to be sort of moving all over your house and that type of thing. You want to have a dedicated office space so that when you sit down to work, you are sitting down to work. Okay. I think that's something that really helps with focus and really helps with, keeping your plan for, you are working, you are acting as a business owner, and you're being a business owner. So a dedicated office space, I always think, is really important. You need some kind of a computer. I've heard people ask recently if they can do things from their phone or from a tablet. And a lot of times, that's just not possible because there's no operating system, on a tablet or even on a phone. I think it's really, and there are services certainly that you can do. I have a lot of stuff on my phone. There's no question. I do a lot of stuff from my phone. I pick up my emails. I can check my Dropbox. I have RoboForm. I can log into any of my client information. I can log into a lot of things and check and do. But I don't run my business from my phone, and I wouldn't recommend that you do either. I think that, when you're typing emails and that type of thing, there's a lot to be said for having a laptop or for having, a PC or Mac or something like that is really, just for your business, that nobody else is using, that you are really responsible for, and that you can set up so that you can use it, most efficiently in your business. So computer for sure. High-speed internet, again, kind of a no-brainer these days, but not everybody has it. You want to make sure that you have secure Wi-Fi. If you are going, to the library all the time, and the stuff that you're working on with your clients is sort of sensitive data, even if it's just their stuff, you're logging into their payment system or something like that, you want to make sure that you're working with a VPN, which is a virtual private network, because you want to make sure that the information that you have, and you'll see it, right? Like, I've done some traveling, and when you sign on to Wi-Fi at the airport or when the train station or anything like that, it'll pop up and say to you, this is not a secure network. And so you want to make sure that you're working as securely as you can all the time, particularly if you're accessing your client system. So internet is important. Speed is always good, but definitely, secure internet is one of the things that you want to have. You want to have a business phone. Even if you don't take calls or make calls that often. I have used my personal cell phone for a long time because nobody else answers it but me. And I think that that's what's important, is that, you don't want to have an answering machine picking up that is, has your kids on it, or you don't want somebody picking up the other end of the phone. I had that before. I used to make my long distance calls from my landline because I didn't have a proper cell phone package, a long distance phone package on my phone. They didn't have one at the time that was reasonable for me. So I used my landline for it. And, there'd be times when my husband would pick up the other end of the phone because I was dialing out on it. And it's really annoying, right? You can make jokes and you can have some fun with it and that kind of thing. But, you do want to seem as professional as possible, especially if you do have an office and you're off into another room and you can't really see what the rest of the family is doing. You want to make sure that there's that. And, sometimes there's, if even if it's not that issue, it's people calling in and getting your voicemail, and then you not realizing that there was a voicemail because you were on the phone, or somebody else was on the phone, or someone else picks up the voicemails, however it works. So there's lots of different reasons to have a business phone. Those are kind of some of the simplest ones. So you do need the software and the hardware that you need to run your business. Generally, that's pretty easy for administrative assistants or for general admin VAs. Is, just usually need Microsoft Office, or you can use Zoho Office or Open Office or whatever it is that you want to use, something that's compatible with, Google is obviously, the Google Suite is really good too. Something that you can use with your clients that is compatible for what they have. I know that way back in the days I had a PC and my client had a Mac, and we had, compatibility issues with me using Microsoft and her using whatever it is the Macs use. And so, you just want to make sure that you don't, there's a whole lot less of that now. Everything's a lot more, integrated for sure. So it's not that big a deal. But if you need something specific, if you need hardware, if you need, proper scanners, or if you need, graphic equipment or anything like that, you need to understand that that's something you're going to have to bring in as well. You need a task management system, whatever that will be. There are lots. You can, you start with pen and paper, but know that you're probably, as your business grows, you're going to have to move to something else. A little bit more robust, probably something online that sometimes your clients can access. That's what you sort of need to know, is whether they want to access it or whether they don't want to access it. Some clients do and some clients don't. But you're going to want to have something that will keep things organized, and so that kind of what needs to be done, and that's kind of your go-to to organize everything. So a lot of those are free as well, like I said, or they're free up to a certain number of clients, and you may have to do a little bit of trial and error to find out which ones work for you. But that's definitely something that you need in place before you open your business. Even if it's super simple, like I said, even if it's just pen and paper, as long as you have a system that's going to work for you, that's the important part. You do need a contract in order to protect yourself as a contractor. You want to make sure that you have all the basics in there. You make your client sign the contract. I only ever had one person not work with me because I had a contract. And all that meant to me was that she didn't actually look at the contract that I sent her, because in our discussions, and she was like a part of my network, so I knew her, we had socialized and that kind of thing. And she just says, I can't believe you're asking me to sign a contract. I've never even worked with you before. And I thought, well, okay, it's just the extension of the proposal we talked about. There was nothing in it that was, damaging to her. It wasn't a 1-year contract. It wasn't anything like that. And I think that's what she thought it was. And so I just said to her, Anne, you obviously didn't read it, because there's nothing in there that doesn't just protect both of us. It tells us what I'm going to do, when I'm going to do it, what the cost is for it, and how to get out of the contract. It was and the fact that I'll keep all your stuff confidential. Those are kind of the 5 pieces of my contract. And so it was really easy. So, over the years, I've had many, many clients, and no one has ever complained about it. So it is something you want to get in place in your business. You want to have your own rules and policies in there, and, so everything is clear for the clients, and they understand what you're going to do, how much it's going to cost, and all of those things, okay? You do want to find an online payment option. PayPal is a really good one to start with, just because it's simple, and a lot of people usually have them way back from the eBay days. So, and you can take credit cards that way. There are merchant fees involved with almost every online payment processing system. So you just take into account that that's going to be a business expense for you moving forward, and don't worry too much about it unless you really start moving. You start charging a lot of money, and then the fees get higher. Obviously, then you'll want to, sort of take a look at those and make sure that you're using the solution that's best for you. But you really do want to give your clients the ability to pay online somehow. E-transfers are very popular, and I think you can do them in the same country. I don't think I've been able to have success with somebody from the States paying me with an e-transfer yet, but e-transfers are super easy, bank transfers, whatever you call them. And so, yeah, just some way to make it easy so you're not always waiting on payment, okay? And then the last thing you really need is some connections. And if you don't have a lot of connections right now to build your business, then I would, really start to look to build that list. As the one thing that you do need is clients as you get started, and the clients will come from the people that you talk to. Some of the people you talk to will not be your clients, like your family and friends, but if they have a clear understanding of what you provide, what services you provide for your clients, then they can talk about you whenever they are out and about too. And if they are in a business situation where somebody says, I need someone to help me with my client care and my scheduling, then they can say, oh, you should call Tracy because that's what she does. And so you want to make it really clear to your connections what it is that you do. So that they will think about you whenever they're in other situations too. And of course, the connections that you're going to reach out to yourself. So I hope that gave you a lot of tips, I guess. It's my 3 main points. You need to have a service to offer. You need to have the business setup pieces in place, and you do need your onboarding pieces that will make it easy for you to bring on new clients as you get going. So I hope that's helpful for you. I look forward to your comments, and I will see you next week. Take care. Have a good week.